What a day. The biggest whale of them all is now trying to swim out into the ocean. I'm going to need Pat Riley to get into his boat and bring his harpoon. Oh, it is. It is Thursday episode of Donno Daily here on the 5 Reasons Sports Network. I am Alex Donno and Kevin Durant. KD has officially requested a trade from the Brooklyn Nets. Right now, it's 4 o'clock, Thursday, 30th of June, year of our Lord, 2022. Guys, whether you're watching this live right now or if you're watching us later on via replay, either way, do us a solid. Smash that like button and make sure you subscribe to 5 Reasons Sports YouTube. And my friends, you guys know 5 Reasons Sports is really one of the most trusted and prolific channels when it comes to Miami Heat and NBA free agency content. And I am just a cog in the wheel, guys. There's going to be so much coming up in the next couple of days. So this is one, bros. This got dropped in our laps today around 3 o'clock. Like, dropped in our laps. Okay. Now you go back the past couple of days when we found out that Kyrie Irving was going to opt in, which financially makes a lot of sense because you opt in for $36.9 million. Like, some people thought he was just going to say, no, I don't want $36.9 million. I just want to go to the Lakers and make about $6 million next year. But it was specifically reported when Kyrie Irving opted into the final year in Brooklyn that, he was committing to stay with Brooklyn, not to strong arm a trade, and specifically mentioned was finishing what he started with Kevin Durant. Finishing what he started with KD was specifically mentioned there. So I assume they talk. Like, I assume that these guys are close enough that they, were in communication with one another and they had kind of figured out, hey, Kyrie, I'm going to run it back. KD, you stick around with Brooklyn. Don't request a trade. Sure enough, Kevin Durant has requested a trade. And okay, so I found out about this a little over an hour ago. Probably most of you here found out about this a little under an hour ago. And yeah, you know what? You may be right about that. He left Russ with zero communication. I don't think communication is KD's strong suit. Apparently, I think we've learned that. I think we've established that by this point in time. Now, friends, this is a relevant topic for us here. And I assume a lot of the people in here are probably Miami Heat fans. Even if you're not, welcome in. We'll throw some shout outs to the live chat a little bit later on. But specifically being reported, let me pull up a tweet here from Woj. My eyes kind of suck, so I gotta zoom into this one a little bit. Adrian Wojnarowski of ESPN tweeted out, Phoenix and Miami are among two of the teams that Kevin Durant has on his wish list. Now, he says among. It's funny how he didn't, I don't know if Woj and Shams, if they know more than they're saying here, but they say among the teams, but those are the only teams that he mentions. Phoenix and Miami, sources tell ESPN. But the Nets plan to move Durant where they can get the best possible deal. With 4 years on his contract, there's no shortage of teams willing to unload assets for Kevin Durant. So, listen, like Durant, I'm sure he and his agent will work hard to make sure he gets traded to a place he wants to go. And any team that acquires him is, it's weird because I was trying to come up with what his leverage is. I guess he doesn't have a whole lot of leverage because he's got so many years left on his deal that it's not like, because a lot of times you'll have, a great player who gets traded who's got 1 year left on his deal. And so he can say, if a team that he doesn't want to go to is trying to trade for him, he can tell them, guys, I'm a rental. I'm not going to re-sign with you. I don't want to play here long term. And that could discourage teams, but he's got 4 years left on his contract. So, still, whatever leverage he and his agent feel like they have, they're going to try to make sure that they get traded to one of his favorite destinations, but he doesn't have any sort of no trade clause. And yeah, if you're the Brooklyn Nets and you are kind of a joke of a franchise right now, and you may be heading towards, another rebuild, right? Because I don't know what happens with Kyrie now. Let's not lose focus of Kyrie Irving either, my friends, because hey, if Kyrie, he's going to opt in, but that doesn't mean he can't also, demand a trade or request to be traded. And maybe Brooklyn decides, let's just get, all the young players and all the draft picks possible. Let's just blow it up and rebuild, because our whole experiment of, of Harden and Kyrie and KD, it was just a massive, massive, massive failure. But yeah, anytime you see this update of Kevin Durant having Miami among his favored destinations, we have to be thinking about it. John Marco says, Dono, stop the cap. We'd have to trade them. Jovic, Hero, Duncan, Strus, 2 firsts, Mario Cristobal, and every commit to the U for Durant. Oh man. Well, listen, so couple things on, first of all, why Miami would be one of Kevin Durant's favorite destinations. Some of the reasons are obvious. Location is fantastic. Financially, no state income tax is very attractive. The Heat franchise is very attractive because you know that this franchise produces winners. This is a winning organization. You've got a head coach in Eric Spoelstra who works with all types of egos. Eric Spoelstra can overachieve with former G League players and undrafted players, or he can also, manage egos like when LeBron, Wade, and Bosh were all together. And this is just a top class organization. And the other thing is, guys, let's not forget something. I think it was the summer of 2016. Man, it doesn't really feel like that long ago, but it was the summer when Durant ended up going to Golden State, which of course worked out very well for him. Remember, the Miami Heat had a free agent meeting with KD that summer, and he didn't really have the cap space at that point to sign him. But Pat Riley is the Don. When Riley asks you for a meeting, KD gave him a meeting. I'm sure the meeting went very well, although he ultimately, chose to go to Golden State. But something we were saying even back then was Riley is always playing the long game. That if Pat Riley doesn't get him that summer, he's still planting the seed, and there could be another opportunity in the future to get Kevin Durant. So it's really not surprising that KD would have the Miami Heat on his short list now. And you guys know this. Pat Riley, he's in his 70s. A lot of people, ooh. Is this just coming across? Thank you. L. Burgess says, Woj is saying Kyrie out now. Hold on. Let me pull up the latest tweet from Adrian Wojnarowski, because this is one of these things, guys. You don't always get this opportunity to be on live when so much stuff is happening at once. I don't see if Woj did tweet something about maybe he might have said this on ESPN TV. I don't know if he did say something about Kyrie. Now I didn't see that. Mob ties. Kyrie is out. But you guys know Pat Riley, being, in the twilight, I'm sure, of his Heat president career. Although who knows? I mean, Pat Riley, with those great genes of his, he might be around till he's like 150, and half a century from now, he's still doing what he's doing, being the team president for the Miami Heat. But we know Pat loves to make splashes, and Pat wants to leave one more big time legacy before he decides to ride off into the sunset and retire to that lavish Malibu mansion of his. Riley would move heaven and earth if it meant getting Kevin Durant here. Thank you so much for the super chat. We got one from Gianmarco, and here from the Unidentified Celebrity Review. Duncan is a bum. Oops, wrong stream, he said. No, the Duncan slander is always welcome here. Jeffrey Still says Pat is going to get it done. Adrich Young says, would rather have KD, but I wouldn't be mad at Kyrie. Beal looks stupid now. Yeah, I mean, because Bradley Beal's going to sign the Supermax in Washington, right? So he's that's already been reported anyway, that he's going to, and Bradley Beal, he's going to stay in Washington forever. And then every 6 months, there's going to be rumors about how like he's unhappy with the team and he wants them to win more. But I don't think he's ever going to get out of there. But you know that Riley will move as many mountains as he needs to move to make the best possible offer and make this happen. So let me ask you guys, and I have the feeling that our pal Gianmarco, who just based on his tweets, because he tweeted me something as well about KD, I get the feeling that you're not the biggest proponent of making a deal for Kevin Durant. Because don't you look at this? I've seen some people on Twitter say that everybody's on the table for a trade except for Jimmy and Bam. I would say the only guy who's untouchable is Jimmy. I think in a situation like this, if the difference in making that deal or not is including Bam Adebayo, I don't know how you can sleep at night if the reason why you don't make a KD deal to pair him up with Jimmy is because you decided not to trade Bam. Because the thing is, like Bam, I love his defense. I love his ceiling or lack thereof, right? Because don't we say this guy's got no ceiling? But still, it's like Bam, to me, he's still a work in progress. He's still an unfinished product, and I don't know what the finished product is going to look like, where you know exactly who Kevin Durant is and still is. I don't exactly know who Bam Adebayo is, and I know exactly who Jimmy Butler is, because you know what I watched from Jimmy Butler the last couple of months? I watched a guy who was stupidly locked in and was among the very best players in that entire playoff run for any team. There were certain points where Jimmy Butler was the best player on the floor for any team in the NBA postseason. He was playing championship level basketball, but he didn't have championship level help. It's a superstar driven league, and I honestly don't know yet if Bam Adebayo is a superstar or will ever be. Van Lee says, I have seen Bam ceiling, trade him. Um, you know, what held the Heat back, ultimately. Now, listen, there were also injuries, availability issues. We can make plenty of excuses. And at the end of the day, the Miami Heat were 4 points away from playing in the NBA Finals. That's what makes this tough, because that team was not far off. That team was not far off from at least getting to the NBA Finals. They were 4 points away from doing that against Boston in a weird series where nobody could win at home, and like everybody was hurt on both teams, more so on the Miami Heat. But still, you look at just the Jimmy Butler not having a true wingman, not having another elite scorer to pair up with him when it mattered most. Kevin Durant's still one of the best basketball players in the entire world. And if you have an opportunity to bring him in, honestly, this is my opinion. This is my freaking opinion. You can agree with it or disagree with it. I think the only person who is untouchable in trade talks for Kevin Durant is Jimmy Butler. Anybody else, I will drive Tyler Hero to the airport. I will pay for Duncan Robinson's Uber. As much as I like, people like Max Struess and Gabe Vincent, I'm packing up their bags for them. I'm helping them move their furniture. And same thing goes for Bam Adebayo. I will help Bam move his furniture if it means getting Kevin Durant back the other way to pair him with Jimmy Butler. And then Pat Riley and Andy Ellisberg are going to find a way to build the rest of the roster around them, and the Heat become a true championship contender. Now, if it comes down to, let's say, and these are just the teams Durant likes, okay? Because the Nets can negotiate with everybody if they want to, but if it comes down to just the teams that Kevin Durant likes, um, I don't know if you're saying chill to me, because I have volunteered. I will be the moving company. I will rent my own truck and pay for it if it means moving the furniture for some of these players to get Kevin Durant. It's man, packing bags and paying Ubers. I haven't used an Uber in a long. I don't think I've used an Uber since pre-pandemic. So I don't like. I'm sure the prices must have gone way up with the gas prices these days. Maybe I can't pay for the Uber. Um, I don't. I'll do something. I'll go like Dutch. I'll split the Uber with Duncan Robinson to drive him to the airport. Roderick says, "I live in Cali. I'll drive across the country to help them move." Too funny. Too funny. But no, okay. So even like if it comes down to like even Durant's preferred destinations, Phoenix, Aiton in a deal. They've got some good players. They've got draft picks. They could potentially put together as good or even better an offer that the Miami Heat could make. Plus, if I'm Brooklyn, wouldn't I much prefer to send him to the West? I don't know, but maybe they don't even care that much because if they trade Durant and Kyrie, they're going to suck anyway. I'm just thinking out loud here. Like as a matter of principle, if you've got a superstar player who's on the trading block, you prefer to send them to the opposite conference if you can. But then if you're going to end up trading both KD and Kyrie, your team's going to blow anyway. They kind of blew last year. I mean, they got into a you sound crazy, somebody says. I mean, they had a very disappointing season last year. They just got into the play-in, but I mean, they would definitely prefer to trade him to the West if they had an opportunity. Yeah, Martin says KD may want to play with Bam and Jimmy. Don't get me wrong. If I'm Riley, I'm not including Bam in my first offer. Like my first offer is like, here, can I interest you in Tyler? Can I interest you? Because you can't start the conversation if Tyler Hero is not involved. Can I interest you in Tyler? Can I interest you in a 36-year-old who's going to drop some weight and get in a little better shape? And Kyle Lowry, he's got a very round behind, but he'll work on that. Can I interest you in some shiny future first round draft picks? Like you also have to make the salaries match up. Math is not my strong suit, folks. If you want me to start doing live math, it's going to be a terrible, terrible broadcast because I can barely add 2 plus 2. Oh man. I had a buddy of mine. I'm in a group. I'm in a bunch of group texts, and I'm like the worst. If you have me in a group chat of yours, chances are you don't hear from me for months. I am not active group chat guy. My group chats start growing cobwebs like on my phone, but yeah, every now and then I'll see some messages that come up. So one of my best friends, as soon as he saw this news, he says, "Is it weird that he's a Heat fan?" He says, "Is it weird that I don't want Durant on the Heat? I can't stand that guy." Listen, I can't stand him either. I've referred to him as Charmin soft, insecure, burner accounts, cares way too much about what people think of him and way too much about what the media says about him. I can overlook a lot of things when someone's wearing a Miami Heat uniform. I can overlook his insecurities and his eccentricities if he's wearing a Miami Heat uniform. Exactly. Thank you. Thank you. Ayub says, I dislike him, but I couldn't care less about that stuff. Oh man. Shams is killing Woj since the pandemic. I've noticed that Shams has been way more on the ball than Adrian Wojnarowski. Uh Jimmy Butler, welcome to the chat, Jimmy, says, is our package good enough? Honestly, I don't know. I think we could have put together, or maybe we could, because he might end up being available here. I think we could probably put together a good enough package for Kyrie. For KD, I don't know. It's going to be much bigger bidding war for KD than there would be for Kyrie. Durant needs to threaten to sit out if he doesn't go to where he wants. Thank you. That's good. I was trying to come up with what Durant's leverage is because he's got 4 years left on his deal, right? So oftentimes when you've got like a disgruntled superstar who's only got 1 year left on the deal, they can tell if the teams that they don't care about, like if like the Detroit Pistons make an offer, he's like, well, I'm not going to play for you. I'm going to sit out. I'm not going to re-sign with you. I've only got 1 year left on my deal. I'm just going to be a rental. He's got 4 years left on his deal. Always have confidence in your package. Vic Papo says, I agree with that. Yeah, it's good enough if somebody offers Ayton money. By the way, guys, while you're all in here, I want to remind you, and there could be opportunities for some Kevin Durant futures to bet on. We have a new betting partner here on Donno Daily. It's new to my show, but they've been with the 5 Reasons Sports Network for a couple of months now. It's called Better Edge, BETTOR Edge.com. This is a lot different from some of the other sports books that we've talked about in the past because it's not really a sports book. It's not owned by a big casino. They don't take fees. It's completely legal. So you don't have any of like the gray areas of the offshore stuff that, kind of a lot of people struggled with. Like you're worried, how do I pay for this? Because it's a foreign transaction. Can I get my money out? None of that with Better Edge. What makes Better Edge so unique is like I mentioned, they don't take any fees. There's no vig. There's no juice. Like you're not betting, minus 110 or minus 120, to win a bet. It's strictly peer to peer. It's like combining social media with betting, and they make their money through advertisements on their site. They don't make their money from taking fees from you. So what happens is any line you want, like if you want, the Marlins plus 1.5, or, the Heat are going to be playing summer league basketball this weekend. If you want the Heat minus 3.5 in a summer league game, even if that's not the line, you make it your line because you find somebody else on the other side of that line and you bet each other. Very easy to deposit, very easy to take your money out. In fact, if you want to try Better Edge for yourself, BETTOR edge.com. If you want to try it for yourself, use our referral link because we're going to give you a bonus for signing up. You're going to get $20 referral bonus. It's betteredge.com/5reasons with the number 5 reasons. Betteredge.com/5reasons. As soon as you hit that URL, betteredge.com/5reasons, you're going to see $20 referral bonus. Make sure you accept that and start playing, man. I mean, listen, I know we're in the off season for certain things. There's plenty of baseball going on. You may laugh at me, but I have bet on NBA Summer League games before, and it makes them a lot more enjoyable. You can get all that action at betteredge.com. Thank you. Another man, John Marco is like Santa Claus today. Thank you for your generosity. He says, Hero, Bam, Lowry, D-Rob, and picks, I'd say is enough for a guy who doesn't want to play for your team. Just look at Lukaku. Yeah, he and I, John Marco, are both Inter Milan supporters. I'm very happy to have Romelu Lukaku back. He had 2 incredible seasons with Inter before he went and took the money at Chelsea and had a terrible time there. He wanted to come back. If we include Bam, I want Kyrie and KD. I don't think that one's going to happen. You'd probably have to include Jimmy. You'd have to include Jimmy and Bam to get Kyrie and KD, and even that probably wouldn't be enough, depending on what else you were offering. Oh man, yeah, I would tend to agree. You give up Bam, no doubt. If that's the difference, like don't offer Bam right away. That's the ace in the back of your pocket, right? But if Bam Adebayo is the difference between getting KD or not getting KD, I don't know if Pat will be able to sleep at night if he says, I passed up on Kevin Durant because I didn't want to give up Bam Adebayo, who may never develop into a consistent offensive threat. Defense, I'll give him that. But if you're talking about Jimmy needing a true scoring wingman, or in this case, Jimmy would be KD's wingman if KD came here, because I love Jimmy, but a healthy KD is just an absolute phenomenon. But yeah, no, I don't know. At the end of the day, if the only difference between making the deal or not was Bam or no Bam, I don't know if Riley would be able to sleep at night. Let me see if Shams has any nuggets, because I was on the Woj Twitter feed. But as someone rightfully pointed out, Shams has been kicking Woj's butt to scoops anyway. Let's see if Shams has anything new. A lot of stuff about the Utah Jazz. I don't care about the Utah Jazz. Yeah, I don't think Shams has anything super new on this unless you started a thread here. No, I think the last thing about KD that I saw Shams tweet, correct me if I'm wrong, is just the scoop itself. Kevin Durant has requested a trade out of Brooklyn. Sources tell The Athletic and Stadium. If Riley could swing something for KD, where would it rank as most memorable Riley moves ever? Right, where like the holy trinity so far of Pat Riley deals. You got the summer of 2010. I'll just group that all into one. The Shaquille O'Neal trade, the Alonzo Mourning trade. Those are probably the biggest moves that Riley has made with the Heat. Like, where would this rank on that list? Second? Definitely wouldn't be first, because the summer of 2010 was a pure masterpiece. Like an absolute. Would this be bigger than the Shaq trade? Would it be not quite as big as the Shaquille O'Neal trade? I mean, both would be older by the time you get them, because Kevin Durant is 34 years old. I think Shaquille was actually a little younger, but at his size, a few more drive-throughs he had hit by that point. I think Shaq was 32 when you got him. KD would be would be 34 if you can get him. Angelo says this would be number 2. So yeah, I guess Adrich says the same thing. Hold on. What am I purposely not reading? Hold on. I don't know. Honestly, like we've gotten so many messages in the live chat. I'm not really purposely skipping over anything. I'm just not seeing everything that comes in. What is this? You cannot have 2 players acquired via trade that were signed to that type of extension. Brooklyn already has Ben Simmons. That is per Bobby Marks. This is the first part of it. The Nets are not allowed to acquire a player like. Oh, interesting. I did not know that. Okay, so let me put these messages in sequence now. The Nets are not allowed to acquire a player like Bam Adebayo from the Heat because of the designated rookie extension rule. You cannot have 2 players acquired via trade that were signed to that type of extension. Brooklyn already has Ben Simmons per Bobby Mark. So, okay, so you would have to find a third team for Bam then. If you would have to do that like for salary reasons, then you couldn't. So he's right. I think I am seeing this now from other people as well. And thank you for that update, Alejandro. So I guess if you were to have to move Bam to make this deal happen, you would have to find a third team for him. You would not be able to send him directly to Brooklyn. So thank you for that. All right, let me throw Jimmy says, and I'm starting to feel like this might be the real Jimmy. He says, trading Bam makes no sense. KD wants to go to the Heat because of Bam. If my dad was still alive, this is what he would sound like going through the comments. Oh, man. Am I that old? I'm 37. I don't know. I don't feel old. You're only as old as you feel, right? Oh, man. So I want to remind you guys also to support our fantasy sponsor here on the 5 Reasons Sports Network, and that is Prize Picks. I think I have a Prize Picks banner. I'm sounding like an old man again. Here's a Prize Picks banner for you. PrizePicks.com, Prize Picks mobile app. Bros, soccer season, got MLS going on. International friendlies have been going on. Major League Baseball, NBA Summer League coming up. You can get a lot of action on individual players at prizepicks.com and the Prize Picks mobile app. What you do on Prize Picks, this is revolutionizing the daily fantasy game. You simply make selections, and it takes under a minute to do it. Even an old man like me can do this very quickly. You select 2, 3, or 4 players and predict if they're going to go over or under their fantasy projections, and then you win real money. You can get 10 times your money for getting 4 predictions correct, double your money for getting 2 predictions correct. You want to try this out, guys. You've probably seen the Prize Picks billboard. You've heard us talk about Prize Picks on 5 Reasons. If you haven't tried it yet, I don't know what you're waiting for, but there's no time like the present. So sign up. Prize Picks mobile app is very easy to find and download, or prizepicks.com. And when you sign up, use our code word 5. You got to spell it out, FIVE. Use our code 5 when you make your first deposit, and they're going to match your first deposit 100% up to $100. Free money to play with at prizepicks.com. It's addicting. I'm telling you, you're going to have a great time. And it makes the games more interesting. I'm not a huge baseball fan. I'll admit it. I used to be a big baseball fan, and then the Marlins kind of ruined it for me over the years. But when I have selections on Prize Picks in the majors, it makes the games a lot more interesting to me. It motivates me to watch. And NBA Summer League, the same sort of thing. So sign up today, prizepicks.com or the Prize Picks mobile app. Use our code FIVE to match your first deposit up to $100. Prize Picks truly is daily fantasy simplified. Let me throw some shout outs before we get out of here. And bros, this has already been a crazy week, and we're still 90 minutes away from the legal tampering period opening up, 90 minutes away from the moratorium. Yeah, I saw like early this morning, late last night, there was a report that the Heat would actually get a meeting with Jalen Brunson, despite the fact that he's been rumored to be signing with the Knicks for $110 million, which will probably happen. But it's like weird, because how do we know that before the legal tampering period starts? Have you been illegally tampering? We know only the Heat get in trouble for that. The Heat in Chicago, I guess, are the only teams that get in trouble for like actual tampering. But apparently the Heat will not have a meeting. It was the report was amended or corrected. The Heat will not have a meeting with Jalen Brunson. So if the Knicks want to overpay for that guy, be my freaking guest. All right, today it's been crazy in the chat. I'm like your grandpa trying to read through the chat. There's no way I'm going to be able to shout out everybody. I apologize in advance. I have seen some of the regulars in here, like Brooklyn Rob. I've seen him come by. He was calling me the mush as usual. I probably mushed any chance of KD to the Heat. I probably have. Adrich, I don't know if I'm saying your name correctly. I apologize. Mr. Young, thank you so much for joining us. G Men's 13, Hero gotta go. Yeah, listen, there's no formula. Like if you want to trade for anybody good, there's no formula that doesn't involve Tyler Hero. So if Tyler Hero wants to start looking for, housing in the Brooklyn area, or still, I'd love to trade him to Utah for Donovan Mitchell. Very affordable real estate in the Salt Lake City suburbs. If you want to start looking for homes, bro, Zillow.com is a good place. And they don't pay us to say that. They're not a sponsor. Zillow.com, Tyler. Learn it, internalize it, get on Zillow today because you're going to find a place to live. Brooklyn, I see what you did there. If that's your real name, cool. If it's not, good pun. Brooklyn, thank you. Take a little trip with me, thank you. Shake Money, I appreciate the kind words. I'm running on fumes today, bros. I guest hosted Tobin and Leroy, 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. Been up since 4:30 in the morning. Had Locked On Canes early afternoon. If you guys are Miami Hurricanes fans, I host a daily Hurricane show, which has just been nonstop recruiting for the last couple of weeks, man. It's really exciting times at Miami. They got the cornerback Robert Stafford, 4-star, committed just today. They got Jaden Rashada a few days ago. Ray Joseph a couple days ago. It's been nonstop. So make sure you subscribe also to Locked On Canes on YouTube. If you're a Hurricanes football fan, we got you covered, man, every freaking single day. But yeah, I've been up since very early in the morning, guys. Let's see. Eric Rodriguez, thank you so much for tuning in. Donut Dan, always love that name. Thank you. Eugene, thank you. Eric Rodriguez, well, this is more interesting now than getting TJ Warren. I would say so. More interesting than Mo Bamba. It's a great name, Mo Bamba. Mo Bamba. No, this is more interesting. More interesting than maybe getting Jay Crowder back. Yeah, probably say so. I don't know how to say this. M4A1 Heisman. M4. I feel like that's like something I should know what those first four letters mean there, but I don't know. It's over my head. Dub 88 ACC. Thank you so much for tuning in. Here's a nice simple name. Jay Knox. Thank you. So if we get both KD, Kyrie while keeping Jimmy, that's more interesting. That would be very interesting. Like, we'd be so good, we wouldn't even need Kyrie to play every game. Like, if he just wakes up certain mornings and says, I don't feel like being a basketball player today, as long as he's around for the playoffs, we're good. Nico says, someone asked if we're worried about KD's age. Not a concern at all. No, he's got, like, you think about KD's age, Jimmy Butler's age, they've both got enough left for an all-out run for the next 2 or 3 years, if not longer, but at least the next 2 or 3 years. So you're maximizing the windows for both. So I'm not worried. Obviously, if you were to acquire KD to make a lethal pairing with Jimmy Butler, you're going all in over the next short term, which is fine because the goal every season is to win a championship. And if you feel like you can attain that in the short term, you go for it. So no, I'm not worried. I'm not worried about his age either. George Guerra, thank you so much for tuning in. Let's see. Orlando, thank you so much. If the Suns offer everyone, they would be left with no one except KD. You offer everyone. Okay, we got Kevin Durant, and we'll fill up the roster with mid-levels and minimum guys, and they'd probably still be pretty good. Pretty good. Tennessee T, thank you. Emergency pod needed. We're probably going to have a lot of those on the 5 Reasons Sports. Like, I guarantee you right now, the 5 on the floor guys are probably cooking something, right? and then like after floor, before floor, next to the floor. They got so many different shows, these guys. Adjacent to the floor. Ethan does like 20 different shows on this network. Starting 9, he does. 400 level above the floor, he does. They're all the floors are cooking up content right now. I think I may have shouted out Nico already. You get another one. Man, the chat has been going so strong. It's like making me panic. I can't keep up with everything here. Freddie, thank you so much. No, no, I'm not trading Jimmy, Freddie. That's the one. That's where I draw the line. I do not draw the line at Tyler. I would trade Bernie, the mascot. I would trade who else would I trade? I would trade Julio, the security guard outside of FTX Arena. I would trade just about anybody, but I think Jimmy is the one guy I don't want. Rob Duke says do not want KD washed up. I disagree. Grandmaster C. Jake, thank you so much. Oh, so he's the one who was asking KD being 34 is an issue. Depends on what your goals are. If your goal is to like build, a team that's going to compete for a decade plus, then that's an issue. If your goal is to go all in for the next 2-3 years, then I don't think it's an issue. But it depends on what your goals are. Marcus, thank you so much. Lou, thank you. Jimmy, thank you for stopping by. Tell Kyle Lowry I'm sorry that I talked about his behind. I know that you're like the godfather to his kids. I don't want to offend anybody. Robert, thank you so much for stopping by. Let's see. Let me shout out. If I shout out everybody, we'll be here all day. It was a great time. Guys, make sure you're in here right now. Even if you don't like the show, still hit the like button. Even if you hated it, hit the like button because it doesn't just help me. It helps everybody on the channel. Hit the like button. And if you haven't already, subscribe to 5 Reasons Sports on YouTube. There's like 20,000 people who already subscribed to this channel. So you probably have subscribed already, but double check that. If you haven't subscribed, do that for us. Do us a solid. SRT Dre, thank you so much. And yeah, okay. So a couple people were saying this. You're right. Can't trade Bam because of a designated rookie provision. Bam, this is your lucky day, bro. We just untraded you. I tried to trade Bam. He's been officially untraded. All right, let's see. Dono, read the comments. Jeez, I was trying to. Oh, so this was when everyone at once was saying we can't trade Bam. Okay, that's what I was missing on the comments. Wow. For CBA. I think the CBA is stupid. How about that? Let me shout out again John Barco for the generous super chats. Somebody else left a super chat. I want to shout that out as well. Let me see. Aiden, thank you so much for the super chat. And oh, wait. Oh, another one from Gianmarco. Thank you so much for the generosity. And I don't know, I feel like we got another one, but I'm never going to find it. Thank you, Raphael. Thank you, Jeff Doris. I appreciate you. This would be the perfect last hurrah for Riley, said Sammy. All right, everybody, for stopping in. We appreciate your time. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm sorry I tried to unnecessarily. Only 13 likes. Is that true? Yeah, a bunch of freeloaders in here. It doesn't cost anything to leave a like. All you got to do is hit the thumbs up button. All right, we'll talk to you guys tomorrow. Another episode of Donno Daily. Thank you. It's your civil duty to like content. That's right. You never stop into a YouTube channel without hitting the like button. All right, we'll talk to you guys again tomorrow. I think tomorrow we'll be back around 2 o'clock talking about free agency to this point. Another episode of Donno Daily on the 5 Reasons Sports Network. See ya.